Hi, this is Kristen with Qubit, and I'm here with Jeff Wood at Reconnecting America. And Jeff has got some great Twitter feeds that he's going to be talking to us about, kind of about why he's on Twitter and what value that Twitter has provided to him and the different organizations he works with.
Hey everybody. I guess the first thing I should probably start out with is how I came to Twitter. Back in, I think it was 2007, some friends of mine, my best friend's wife's friend from college actually helped start Twitter and bring it to where it is today. And they were all excited about this new technology that had come out. Apparently it took off actually at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, during the 2007 Interactive Festival. But all my friends were saying, "Oh, you've got to get on this thing. It's really cool. It's basically this new thing where you can text people, and everybody in your group gets your text instead of you having to figure out how to text everybody. If you're somewhere where you have access to your cell phone, then in somebody else's at a bar or something, you can actually get together with all your friends or tell all your friends where you are." Well, eventually, I think that I signed up, and I wasn't really sure about it, so it sat there for about a year and a half. I had an account, but I didn't use it. But then things started changing, and it was interesting because I started hearing that all these other people were on Twitter and friends of mine that I was blogging with, and I've been in the blog scene for a while, since about 2006, writing blogs in the urban blogosphere. So all the folks that I knew from around the country were getting involved with Twitter, and I decided to see what it was all about. And I had an early handle because I'd signed up early because I had friends that were involved in the company, but I had never really picked it up. And then once I picked it up, it was quite amazing because there was all this stuff coming in. It was almost like getting an email every few seconds about information that I really was interested in. And the thing that I use it for most is information. This whole idea of telling your friends where you are at the time, if you're in a club or something like that. I don't think that panned out the way they expected it to when they first started Twitter. But the information sharing and the sharing of knowledge and news and all that other stuff really picked up, and that's kind of what I glommed onto, especially since I do a lot of my work here at Reconnecting America is related to news gathering and information sharing types of processes. So having another outlet outside of the RSS reader to get news and information from trusted sources was an awesome way to go. I follow over 500 people now, and it's who I choose to follow, so it makes it even more targeted. It's the people that I know are going to give me good information. So that's kind of how I got into it, and also how I think it's useful. It's just so much information and so fast, and you can kind of turn it off and turn it on, and you get out of it what you put into it. You can sit there reading Twitter all day, or you can sign on a certain time of day, and between 8 and 10 in the morning and 4 and 6 are usually pretty high traffic times, so you can probably still get a lot of information and retweets and things from then. And then there's clients and stuff the Twitter app for your browser, or some of the other ones that are around there. And I can't, they're escaping me off the top of my head right now, but they're out there, web-based clients to kind of manage your stream of all your people you think are most important, people you think are interesting, and you can split it out so you're not just getting this stream of email all day.
Great. So you talked about, you getting kind of an email every few seconds, and I know some people that can be a little bit overwhelming. Can you talk about how that you kind of deal with that? Is it okay not to read everybody's tweet? Like how do you handle all that information? Because it could be information overload.
Yeah, I mean the best part is that you can, unless you're super obsessive compulsive and you have to read everything that comes in front of you, all your emails, all of your tweets, all of everything, all the magazines that actually come into your house each week, I feel less obligated to read them all than I do, say, just because they're coming so fast and furious that honestly, I every day I basically have to declare bankruptcy on it.
Yeah.
I just have to say, you know what? I might miss some information, and that's okay. And there's some days when I check tweets religiously all day, and then other days I don't get to the Twitter at all. It helps a lot that it's on my cell phone, so I can be waiting for some process to be working on my computer, and I'll check it really quick. But there's days where I don't feel like I have to, because the world is still gonna move forward, and the sun's still gonna rise in the morning and set in the evening. So it's one of those things where you just have to realize your boundaries and follow those. And whenever I turn it on, I always find something interesting. So it's not like I feel like I'm gonna miss too much. So that's a good part of it as well. But I think it's a tool that people can use, and like I said before, you get out of it what you put into it. If you only want to go on for 5 minutes a day, then you'll get out 5 minutes worth of information, and that's awesome. For some people, that's all they have, and I think it's worthwhile even then.
That's great. So, we talked about getting good information out. Maybe for people who aren't very familiar with Twitter, what kinds of information do you personally get from Twitter? What are you interested in? Maybe even give us some specific examples of interesting things that you found via Twitter.
Well, I learned all about Britney Spears. I'm kidding. Actually, I don't, because I chose not to follow her. But, I think I mentioned this to you earlier, but my sister was saying, why do you use this Twitter thing? I don't care about what Britney Spears is doing. And that's the beauty, is you don't have to know what she's doing, because you don't have to follow her.
Right.
But a lot of the information I get are links to news articles, blogs, interesting statistics, and sometimes people's status messages, but sometimes they're interesting. Or, people might say, hey, it might be a meetup function, like, hey, I'm going to such and such at this time. If anybody wants to join, feel free. A buddy of mine, my friend Eric, and I were, he writes at transbayblog.com, and he and I went out for a beer to talk transit and talk nerdy. And we tweeted out that we're hanging out and getting a beer, and we got some, comments from people like, oh man, I wish I was there. Like, too bad I don't live in the Bay Area. So it would have been open for anybody to come and hang out. So those types of things happen. Random interactions like that happen as well. And it's kind of cool to see that, all the people that you're following and that you're friends with online in a city can actually, if you're just out randomly and want to talk about transit or something like that, you can meet up with folks too. But the information thing is huge. I mean, I know that I find at least 10 articles a day through Twitter that I wouldn't have found through my RSS feed or even Google Alerts or anything like that, because people are really good at culling information for themselves and their ideas and what they think is interesting. And what they think is interesting is generally more interesting than what the news people think is interesting. Just because you know these people, you know what they're interested in, you're following them because you're interested in the same stuff that they're interested in, so that you're going to find the stuff that they are posting interesting, and it's going to be news and blogs and statistics and cool stuff like that. So, if you figure out who you want to follow, then you'll get, that person's kind of personality coming through on Twitter.
That's awesome. I love the idea of other people are actually kind of the medium that culls out the quality content, because it is, the web can be overwhelming how much content is out every day. And if you find people through different social media sites like Twitter that are putting out, that kind of filter that content, it actually saves you time.
One of the things I think is really interesting is that, the feed readers, Twitter, everybody has their favorite shows on TV they want to watch, and they don't really have time to watch those shows on TV, so they TiVo them, right? They DVR them.
Right.
And so I feel like this technology, and it's not, they don't call it this, but I feel like it's TiVo for blogs, for information.
That's a great name for it. That's a great tagline.
You can wait for it to come to you instead of having to go to it, and it's really amazing. I mean, I can't imagine, before I got a feed reader, I couldn't even imagine how much time I wasted trying to go back to a site, once a day, because I was looking for new content. But if I can just wait for it to come to me instead of having to go to it, I can actually filter through much more information that way. And the same with Twitter. I mean, if I'm waiting for people to send stuff, or I'm looking for certain people, like I follow at Transport Politic, who Yona Freemark is an awesome writer for his blog, but he also tweets out lots of good stuff. And if I really want to, if I want to follow him specifically, I just go to his Twitter account and see what he wrote for the day, and see, what kind of links he was sending out, because you'll find people that you're more interested in following than others that might be in your stream, but you might have lost it earlier in the day. But it's still going to be there. So it's like TiVo. I really feel like it's the TiVo for information.
Great. So in addition to finding information and then helping you connect with people that are in the area or coming to the area, is there any examples of how you've used Twitter to kind of further either your personal goals or your business goals?
For business, so we at Reconnecting America, we have an account at Reconnecting, and we use it to push out. Well, so we blog on a blog called Half Mile Circles on the website. We also send out a daily newsletter with articles from around the country. I go through about 500 or so, 600 or so articles a day,
wow,
including the ones off of Twitter. And I pull out the 20 to 30 I feel are the best ones for our audience. And I put them into a newsletter, and I send it out every morning. And every morning, that newsletter gets sent out via Constant Contact.
Okay.
But then it also gets tweeted. Constant Contact has a really cool feature where it tweets it out as well. So outside of the folks that are signed up for this newsletter, there's people outside that can get it as well by just going to the Reconnecting America Twitter feed. So you get, we figure that you can get the information a number of different ways that way. And also when we're releasing a report, it's an easy way to kind of disseminate it faster. Twitter in itself is kind of viral in the sense that getting followers and having followers that are interested in your subject matter, it's more likely that they're going to be interested in what you have to say, and then they're probably going to retweet it or bring it or push it out to other people who they think might be interested as well. So releasing our blog posts as well as releasing our news articles and our research reports via Twitter has been fairly. I feel like it's fairly successful in that format. So. Obviously Twitter and Facebook, for the most part, aren't, you can't focus your whole outreach strategy around those mediums alone. It takes a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of different pages to make a book, right?
Right.
But as an individual tool, it's one of the tools in the toolbox for sure.
Well, great. Thanks so much for giving us your perspective on how you use Twitter. Go ahead one more time, give us your Twitter handles and as well as your blog URL. That way folks can follow you on Twitter and also subscribe to your blog.
Sure. Well, you can find us at Reconnecting, or you can find me at The Overhead Wire. You can go to reconnectingamerica.org and click on the News Center, and it'll take you to our blog. And you can join us at the top of the page as well. And you can also find me at theoverheadwire.com.
Awesome.